At least 4 people, including a rabbi, are being held hostage inside a North Texas synagogue. The FBI is on the scene in the city of Colleyville, that's between Dallas and Fort Worth.
The initial reports were, well, they were released, or, well, they were rescued. No, we weren't released, we weren't rescued, we escaped. It was a decision, it was a plan.
11 hours later, the hostages were safe and the suspect was dead.
We had training by the Secure Communities Network, and all of this training was absolutely critical that day for us getting out safely. The whole reason for doing training, the whole reason for doing preparing is you don't know what's going to happen next. And this is going on week after week after week. This is not an isolated thing. It's a problem in this country.
In 2021, we trained over 17,000 members of the Jewish community in everything from situational awareness to how to address an active threat situation to stop the bleed. We have trained over 17,000 people in just the first 5 months of this year.
In place of a gunshot, you're going to hear a whistle. So if you hear the whistle, that means react. Keep in mind, it's a big room. We're all going to be bumped up by the door. Where are you going to go?
Especially since the Colleyville incident, that has really made everybody in all houses of worship aware that we could be vulnerable. It's sad that we have to take all these extra security measures for a house of worship. We shouldn't have to do it, but it's a necessary requirement in today's world. So it's better to be prepared and ready than not trained and possibly become a victim. So that's the attitude we take, and I think it's pretty universal.
Whether it's doing direct pressure or any of these things we're going to go over tonight, we can control that. A lot of other things we can't control, but a lot of times we have the abilities to control the loss of life by controlling the bleeding. Everywhere you're seeing these shooter events all the time, and a lot of times people are saved because law enforcement had some tourniquets on them, or somebody had a tourniquit on them.
Somebody want to try? You want to try?
Before I even start anything else, I want to get this as tight as I can. So I'm going to get it tight, and I'm going to run around to the Velcro. Everybody with me so far?
Obviously, with a lot of the things that have happened recently, we thought it was important to have the Stop the Bleed program come in. We've done some other training with active shooters and things like that, and we felt this was just the logical follow-up. And now we've tried to establish a program to do it on a more regular basis as well, so it's happening about quarterly.
If I can determine where that artery may have been nicked or severed, I'll try to get to that if I can, because sometimes it gets to trying to wipe the blood out.
So we work both with the local police department, with the FBI, with the Department of Homeland Security, with the Jewish Federation. Basically anybody that said they were willing to come in and give us a security evaluation, we said, sure, come on by. And just having those relationships really helps everything a whole bunch.
This goes.
No.
First this,
Got to go
and then
around.
that. Yeah.
We never want to have to consider that might have to happen here, but it can, and it may anytime.
It was really good. I hope to God I would never have to use one.
Same here.
How do we have guard stations and guns at the front of our buildings and say we're welcoming and warm? It's a real balance that we have to figure out. But when Colleyville hit, I think it just set a little bit of a fire and a reminder that what we have in place, is it enough? Is it working? And are we ready for it should it happen here? We've had security trainings. I've got my cameras on my desk I can see. Internally, we have other layers. Our books that we hand out during services, they are meant to serve also as a barricade or a barrier. That's about the layers. So the idea would be as someone walks by or drives by that might be wanting to do something here, would see it and say, I'm gonna keep going. So the more we can discourage before they get to the front door, the better. The challenge around the layers, or all of this, is the money involved. And for every dollar we spend on protecting ourselves is a dollar less, to take a kid to Israel. So that's the discouraging part, I'd say.
It's very hard for an organization our size to manage grants. And that's too bad, because I think in reality there's a larger number of dollars available out there that people can't get to because of the difficulty of the bureaucracy that's built around it.
It's a huge process to apply for the grant, and when we don't get it and we don't know of anyone else that got it, it starts to be, do we really want to go to all this effort? Do we need to do it? It's a lot of money, but no one ever gets it, but you never know, you might get it, and it can do a lot of good. Do we have enough money funding it for all the need? Not even close. There won't ever be enough money possibly for what people feel like we need. I think the government always can play a role in facilitating the work that needs to be done around the anti-Semitism, and some of that is through the FEMA grant money. But what needs to happen at other places, not just at our door? Is that up to us? Is it up to up to the government to help protect us?
Today, I'm proud to sign a law creating the Texas Holocaust Genocide Anti-Semitism Advisory Commission. Prior to each legislative session, the commission that I'm about to sign into law will provide a report on anti-Semitism in Texas, as well as strategies to combat it.
We will take their report, recommendations, possibly that leads to policy, legislation, and laws enacted. This is going to be a work in progress. Establishing this commission is not an end-all. It's the beginning of trying to combat anti-Semitism in our state.
We identify that right now we're living in the most complex and dynamic threat environment facing the Jewish community. And it's not just our community. It's a spate of ongoing directed, targeted violence at communities of faith and minority communities across this country.
You want to put everything in place in case it happens, but never want to test it. And that's our big fear, is that, heaven forbid, we have a situation like that.
Seems like we're being singled out, and we are, but it doesn't seem quite fair that it's us and other, maybe faith-based, don't have to go through some of the same kind of things. But as Jews, we deal with it every day. My hopes would be someday we don't have to worry about our safety and security, but that day's not today. And we will deal with what we have to deal with. So we're not closing the doors, and we're not hiding.